read enough to know that there is clearly a problem at the University of Missouri. And that's not just coming from students, that's coming from some faculty. I'd rather see them err on the side of activism than being passive. I think that what you saw with the University of Missouri football team and the coach, standing up for something that they think is right, harkens back to a powerful tradition that helped to bring about great change in this country.
You know, there's so many disturbing things there that I don't know where to start, but I don't have to start, because I am privileged to have Jesse Lee Peterson, president of BOND, Brotherhood Organization of a New Destiny, right here next to me, because he has written as well, we have him on all the time, but he has written a great new book, The Antidote, Healing America from the Poison of Hate, Blame, and Victimhood. And you know what, Reverend, so good to see you in the studio.
Man. I finally made it here.
Yes, but when hate, blame, and victimhood, yes. When I listen to Obama, that's all he's about.
Absolutely. As I write about in my book, The Antidote, Obama has the same mentality that the radical Black Lives Matter, the Black Student Union and other have. And that is, when he was a child, even though he had a white mother, she taught him that America was a racist society against black people. His grandmother had a negative encounter with a black man, and that affected her in a negative way, and she talked about how bad things were. So Obama thought his grandmother hated white America as well. His father gave a speech to his 8th grade class, and he talked about racism in America and in Africa. And so Obama grew up hating white Americans. And the fact that he grew up away from his father, he has an emptiness, a void within him, because the worst thing that can happen to a child, no matter the color, is to be turned away from their fathers. So Obama has a lot of anger, and that's why he can relate to Black Lives Matter and others. It doesn't make sense that you have the President of the United States of America approving these radical groups going into the university, attacking people. They went into a library recently and cursed.
In Dartmouth. Yeah. And then Dartmouth apologized to the Black Lives Matter people.
Amazing.
For doing, and when Obama, see, here's what really gets me about Obama as a white person, okay? Yes. When he talks about University of Missouri, which he's read enough about, he says, to realize there's something going on there, and then he equates it to how change was brought about in the civil rights movement. And what are we talking about here? Allegedly, someone was called the N-word, and allegedly there was a swastika of feces. We don't know who put it there. That is Rosa Parks. That is civil rights. That is the campuses in the 60s. I don't even know how he could say that.
Well, Steve, I know for a fact, and right now I'm the only one who is saying this, that racism is an illusion. It doesn't even exist. And that's why over the last 40 years or so,
you can fling that away.
Oh, okay, good. That's why over the last 40 years or so, we have not been able to end this idea of racism because it doesn't exist. The problem with black Americans is that not all, but most are being raised without fathers, and so they're angry about that, and then their mothers have turned them away from their fathers. They're mad about that. And rather than dealing with that anger, people like Obama and others, they tell black people, well, it's not your home life, it's racism. And they are using them in order to redistribute power and wealth. And that's why Barack Obama is promoting this insanity that's happened around the universities, because he want to replace the white man, take the power away from him, and put in some black person that agrees with him. And that's why he's pushing it.
And I want to get to the antidote in a second, but also with the Black Lives Matter, they've been very vocal about they don't like all the attention the Paris attacks got.
I know.
Because they said, when I say they, members of their group reportedly said, F Paris, what about us? We have terrorism here at Missouri. I mean, they have to be out of their minds.
They are. They're insane, and that's what anger does. And unfortunately, it's not going to stop until white people stop running. We had the president of the University of Missouri who they accused him of not making them feel safe. Oh, I don't feel safe.
So he's out.
And so the guy put his tail between his legs and ran, and there was no proof. fathers or did not have fathers, so they're growing up empty, and no physical thing is going to solve that problem. And as long as white Americans are trying to give these people all of these things, things are only going to get worse because they are spoiled. For the last 50 years, America has been given to black folks. We gave them affirmative action. We gave them integrated school, whatever they asked for. But if you notice, it's only gotten worse. And that's what happens with spoiled people. They hate you when you spoil them, and then they hate you when you try to take the stuff away from them.
But why can't then, we've talked about this extensively, and in a minute you can't answer it in full, but why doesn't the black community understand that they're in this perpetual circle that they can't get out of, and it's because of Democrats and Democrat policies?
Well, when you're angry, Steve, and they are angry, I've been there. I write about it in my book. I was the same way. When you're angry, the truth looked like the lie, and the lie looked like the truth. So the Democrats come along and say, you know what, racism is holding you back. Here's a free product. Here's a free this or that. And